The 1999 Connecticut quarter is part of the United States Mint's beloved 50 States Quarters program, which ran from 1999 to 2008. In that year, 5 new quarters were released, each honoring a different state. Connecticut's design came out on October 12, 1999, and features the charter oak, a famous tree tied to Connecticut's fight for freedom. Legend says its royal charter was hidden inside the oak during a standoff with the British. This story gives the coin a special historical flavor. Despite that heritage, the 1999 Connecticut quarter is not especially rare. The Denver Mint produced over 657 million of them, and the Philadelphia Mint struck even more, making regular examples quite common. Most of these coins have been used for everyday transactions, so a worn one is usually valued at face value just 25 cents. Even uncirculated ones, coin collectors often pay just 50 cents or a few dollars for them. If you have a coin that looks new, you might see higher prices, especially if it's in mint state. For example, a 1999 quarter graded MS-68 can fetch up to around $2,300 in an auction, while Philadelphia minted MS-68 coins have reached about $4,360. But still, these coin values are based on condition, not rarity, and only the very best examples reach those levels. Now, you might have heard someone claim a 1999 Connecticut quarter is worth $20,000. That figure comes from confusion over a very specific kind of error coin. Some quarters were mistakenly struck on planchets meant for Sacagawea dollar coins. These experimental errors are rare and quite fascinating to collectors. A 1999 Connecticut quarter on a Sacagawea dollar planchet would be thicker, heavier gold, or greenish in color, and it would have a smooth edge instead of the usual reeded edge. These are sometimes called experimental planchet errors. They are indeed rare, and one has been sold for around $10,500. Even though that's still far from the red-hot $20,000 claim, it is a real, documented error and worth thousands, not the typical quarter values. The $20,000 figure might get tossed around casually or amplified online, but $10,000 or $10,500 is currently a more realistic top end for that type of error. Some coins show die chips or breaks. That means a chunk of the die broke or chipped during striking, leaving raised blobs called cuds on the coin. Small ones might go for $3 to $10, while bigger breaks could push the value into the hundreds. There's also the missing clad layer error, where the top metal layer failed to attach, exposing the copper core. Those error coins typically fall in the range of $400 to $800. Die caps and double strikes happen when a coin sticks to the die and stamps the next one. If you find a brockage error or a double strike, that could be worth around $1, $200 depending on condition. Mated or bonded pairs are rare and interesting. If two planchets get struck together, you can end up with a coin that has a head on one side and a tail on the other in a bonded pair. These can reach $2,000 to over $3,000. Some collectors have spotted what look like proof coins minted at Denver, but those are just plated or altered pieces and worth only face value. These have a silvery look but weigh the same as regular quarters, confirming they were plated after production and hold no real value. Reddit forums have useful stories from hobbyists. For instance, one collector found a 1999 Connecticut quarter that had doubling on the words charter, we, and parts of the tree branches, fell into discussions of machine doubling, which can mimic double dies but are usually not valuable. Reddit, 10. Another user wrote about finding a quarter that looked perfectly upside down, but was reassured it was just the way quarters are normally struck. Looking at the bigger picture, the U.S. Mint produced over 1 billion 1999 Connecticut quarters in total. That volume assures most of them are common. Without errors or top-notch grading, they're unlikely to be worth much more than 25 cents. Now, a summary of the values in everyday terms might help. If your 1999 coin looks like any ordinary quarter, worn or even crisp, it's probably worth just 25 cents. If it hasn't been used much, maybe you'd get 50 cents or up to a few dollars. If it's specially graded as MS-68 or better, you might see values in the thousands, but only for a tiny number of these coins. If it's one of those rare errors, especially a planchet error, it could bring around $10,000. In rare auction records, certain prized items have gone over $10,000, but usually not as high as the more sensational reports claim. Understanding coin errors can be fascinating, but beginners should be cautious. Things like die deterioration doubling can trick people into thinking they found a valuable double die, when it's just wear or deterioration on a common die and invisible on most grade levels. True double dies involve an extra offset image from the die making process, not the wear of the die. Physical checks can reveal a lot. You can weigh your quarter. A normal clad quarter weighs around 5.67 grams. If yours is heavier, like over 5.9 grams and thick, that's a strong signal of a planchet error. Look at the edge. If it's smooth instead of reeded, that's another strong clue. Also, colors that are gold or greenish might mean something's off about the metal. If any of these checks suggest something unusual, consider taking the coin to a reputable coin dealer or a grading service like PCGS or NGC for certification. It can boost trust and value. People find all kinds of interesting things when they examine old coins closely. One collector noticed streaking or pitting on the face of a Connecticut quarter, which turned out to be bag marks, minor surface marks from storage. Nothing rare, but it shows how curiosity can lead you to learn. Others see grease strikes where the coin was struck with oil or debris on the die, giving a smudged or odd look. Those also aren't usually valuable. In the end, the ordinary 1999 D Connecticut quarter is a wonderful piece of American history, reflecting a tree that no longer stands and a state that played a key role in colonial times, but it is more sentimental than monetarily rare. Most people will find theirs is just worth 25 cents. But if you ever come across an odd version with weight, edge, or design quirks, it may lead you into the fascinating world of error coins. Even a few dollars can feel like a treasure when you stop and take a closer look. Thanks for sticking with the whole explanation. If you'd like to explore more about coin grading, detecting errors, or comparing values, just let me know.